Okay, so welcome back. So as we talked about, once you log into the dialing software, the first screen you come to is going to be this. The first screen you come to is going to be underneath this Home tab right here. Underneath this Home tab, you will find what we call a predictive dial campaign. Over here you see a list of predictive campaigns, anywhere from database to Long Beach to new data, all the way down to what we're going to work out of, which is called training. Think of a campaign as a group of numbers, a list of numbers for us to dial. These are lists that we maintain as the company here, and these are different areas that we may direct you to call within. So sometimes we do change this up, so you want to check and find out which campaign you specifically should be dialing off of, because there are people that dial out of different campaigns. Once you click on a campaign, it's going to take you to this screen right here, which is under what's called Contact View. And under Contact View, so again, these tabs up here, Contact View, this is going to be the main screen that you're going to be working out of. This puts you into what's called predictive mode, which you see right over here. And predictive mode, all that means is that our software is dialing phone numbers for you, and it's looking for someone to talk to. Now, as an administrator, I can see who's online right here, who's accepting phone calls, and how many phone calls our system is dialing at any given time. Sometimes, I'll see 15 numbers right here with a whole bunch of people that are logged onto the system at any given time. So as a user, as an appointment setter for us, I'll be able to see, that you're logged on and you're actually utilizing this seat from home. This will also give me an idea of what campaign you happen to be dialing in, like these individuals are dialing off of the campaign training. So it tells me who is dialing out of which campaign. Now, going back to your home screen here, there are other areas of the home screen, such as the predictive campaign, as well as schedule calls. We'll get into schedule calls at another time, but I just want to make sure that you pay attention to this right here. This is most likely where you would start your day. When you click on a campaign, in this case training, to start, it automatically sends you into the contact view. The contact view has two areas that you will be focused on. One is to get the contact. The other one is to hang up from the contact. So basically you're looking at this is like picking up a phone and hanging up a phone, and that's kind of what you want to be aware of. You always pick up and hang up from this interface here, never your internet phone, the X-Lite or the iBeam phone dialer that we had set up previous to this. The other place you can tell what campaign you're dialing in is right under here. It tells you at any given time that you happen to be in predictive mode and that you're calling out of the training campaign. Okay? So always pay attention up on the top of your screen here, and this will tell you what campaign you're dialing out of. If you push these arrows right here, you can also select the campaign that you want to dial from right here, or you can do what we call direct dial call. And this is where maybe someone has given you a phone number of someone to dial, and it's like making a manual phone call. All phone calls must be made from within our Hello Hunter dialing platform. Okay. Once I hit Get Contact, first I need to be in a campaign, in this case campaign training, and I hit Get Contact. It's going to add this box here called Locating a Contact, and you should at this point hear music within your headphones. And the music may go on for 5 seconds before you get a call transferred. It may go on for 30 seconds. If it goes on for any more than 30 seconds, there could be a problem with locating a business for you to speak with. Understand that as our phone system makes calls, right here, it's looking for businesses to talk to. And the reason why it's called a predictive campaign or a predictive dialer is because the computer does most of the legwork in finding people to talk to. If it senses that the number's been disconnected or it's a voicemail, it may not transfer anyone over to you. So if it does go beyond 30 seconds, what my suggestion would be is hit your hang up button and then re-hit your get connected button over here so that you hear the music. Once you hear the music, that means you're always connected. Now, when you get a contact transferred over to you, so again, from this screen here, you want to hit Get Contact. You'll see this loading in the background. And basically,
Get ready to sell. Finding prospect.
And basically what you will hear
Contact disconnected.
is music playing in the background. And once there's a contact that has been found for you to speak with, the screen will populate right here with the company name, address, how many employees they should have. Now, what I stress is a company, this information here may not be that accurate. So I always say use caution when verifying this information, because over here, that's why we have employees verified. You always want to ask the question, how many employees work there, and stick to the script that you've been trained on. Everything should be verified verbally. That's one of the reasons why we do record all of our phone calls. Now, during your training period, you've been asked that in the course of dialing to write your calls down so that we can review the recording. Now, the way you would do that is right here you see phone numbers as they populate your screen. So this would be the phone number of the business. Whether this is the correct phone number or the main line coming into the business, this just happens to be the phone number that was dialed by our predictive dialing system. This phone number is what is attached to any record in order for us to have availability for the recording to be listened to. So always keep that in mind. Anytime I ask you to write down your calls for training purposes, this would be the number that I am referencing for you to write down. So this information at the top of your screen right here basically says you're dialing in a predictive mode. You're dialing out of the campaign called training, and this particular record happened to be for this company right here, Balcom Canyon Pet Watch. Now, this disconnect agent number is to be used to disconnect or terminate your connection to your phone. Okay? Once again, your phone should never be picked up or hung up from this phone here. This phone is to only be used to dial extensions, and once you dial an extension, then click back on the screen right here to hang up a phone or what have you. In order to add notes into any record, if you've gotten any additional vital information from what is located right here, what you can do is you can make some notes right here, such as company states that they receive bottles of water from Sparklets. And if you click Add Note here, it will insert who you are as well as the notes that you had just typed. Company states they receive bottled water from Sparklets. This information can be vital, especially when you start scheduling follow-up phone calls for yourself. It's not a necessary part of every single call, but there are calls where you may want to keep extra notes as it relates to records. So just keep that in mind. A couple other features I want you to pay attention to. If you ever get stuck on your pitch as you went over in training, there's this right over here, a little script for for you to click on. If you click on that script, this little pitch will pop up, and it has basically the pitch that you were trained on. So this is a good way to access a script on the fly. As we talked about in training, there are two ways to go with this product. One would be environment. The other one would be, obviously, for those customers where cost may be an issue. So these are generic statements, scripts, if you will, that are used commonly by most of my appointment setters. So whatever works for you, defer to the original training that you were trained on. This is just on the fly, a pitch that you may be able to use. The other thing is, if you check this box right here, I think by default when you sign on that box is checked, the script will pop up on every single call that gets transferred to you. Some people like when the script pops up. Some people don't want the script popped up. If you don't want the script popping up every single time, just go ahead and deselect or uncheck this box here, and it won't pop up anymore. Now, there are two ways to get calls. The first way is to hit Get Contact, and the second way is to check this box, which I believe is set by default, and this says, upon disposition, load the next call. As we talked about earlier, every call must have a disposition if you have made contact with someone at a company. So this is called the disposition bar. So the first part would be, if you've actually made contact with someone at a company, tell us what happened. The first one would be completed sale or goal. You would just check on that if you hit your goal, which is setting an appointment. If they actually requested to not be on our list of companies to contact, you can always list someone by putting them on they requested our do not call list, and we will make sure not to call that business anymore. I caution you with using this selection here because there are times when it could be your approach is what put people off. However, I am not in business to pester or annoy companies. So if your feeling is they definitely do not want to be called again, then put them on our do not call list. But like I said, make sure it wasn't your approach, because if it was your approach, the next appointment setter may have been able to set an appointment with that company, have they positioned their script differently. The second area where you may make a disposition would be under this custom formula right here. So this custom disposition has a few different selections which pretty much covers all of our bases. The first one being send me a fax, the next one being if they are a restaurant. In training, you have learned that restaurants are not part of our market. So if you happen to have been contact made by a restaurant, then let me know that it is a restaurant, and we will pare down the list based on how people are dispositioning their calls. The next one is if they do not meet our minimum criteria, which would be about 10 employees and 10 or 15 water bottles every single month. If they currently have a filtration system in place, they are not qualified. If they defer you to a corporate office with a direct contact, you can disposition the call as that. The next one would be if they state that their employees bring their own water. In other words, the company does not provide any form of water for the employees, or they just use a kitchen sink or a fountain or something of that sort. This last disposition would be that they do meet our criteria. That is something that we do track on an ongoing basis. And what that allows me to do is it allows me to pare down my list, such as this right here. I segment my list into different calling patterns, and over time what we've been able to establish is about 40 to 50% of the phone calls we do make actually meet our